Hello everyone and welcome back to the Adams Eats Kitchen. How are we doing? Hope you're well. Now if you're wondering who this guy is behind me, this is my best mate James. He's just staying with me for a couple of weeks. Say hello James.
Hello there.
Yeah, so he's just peeling some spuds back there. Now as the colder months approach, I'm going to make a nice winter warmer recipe and I'm going to make a chicken and tarragon pie. Now again, like most of my recipes, it's really simple fare. Now we're going to use some nice chicken thighs because they're cheap, they're really versatile, they're a great carrier of flavour and they stay nice and moist as well. Now we're just going to take the skin off, debone them, chop them into chunks, fry them off. We're going to make a nice little sauce with some cream and that all important tarragon. And then we're going to top the pie with some mash, which he's making back there. You know, I'm not going to show you how to make that because I've already done a video on it, which I'll put up on the screen now. So we're going to put that on top it with cheese, bake it in the oven, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So let's crack on with it. And as always, folks, if you look in the description below, you can get a list of those ingredients. And if you press that pause button now, you can get a list of them there as well. Now, whilst he's getting on with that, the first job I need to do is chop up some chicken. Right, okay, so I've got my chicken thighs here. Really cheap, really versatile. I mean, these cost me, what, 6, didn't I? Got, what, 3 quid, wasn't it? 3 quid? Yeah, 3 quid. So I'm just going to get these out onto my chopping board. Now, all I need to do with these chicken thighs is remove the skin. Now, you can keep this and make chicken crackling, which is really nice, but I'm not going to bother this time. And then taking a really sharp knife, all I'm going to do is just go either side of the bone and then get your knife underneath and just separate the bone from the flesh. Easier said than done.
Make great soup or
yeah, keep them, yeah, as James says, keep them.
Stock with those bones.
And all I'm going to do is just roughly chop them into, you know, nice chunks. You want them fairly sizable because you want to get a nice bite, but not so large that, you know, becomes a bit too much.
Also being too small and then they will tend to dry out.
Yeah, dry out. So, you know, kind of that size. Stick them in a bowl, and whilst I'm carrying on with that, I'm going to get James to dice up these 2 carrots. There you go, mate. A nice sort of fine dice, you know. So I'm going to carry on with the rest of these chicken thighs. James is on the carrots, and I'll see you folks in a bit. Right, okay, so I've finished dicing up my chicken thighs. You can see I've got it all here. And the next job we need to do is dice up these onions nice and fine as well. I can't be bothered to do that, so I'm going to give it to James. There you go, mate.
No problem, chef.
It's James peeling his onions. You've done this before, haven't you, mate?
I have. I've done enough onions in my life.
With those big muscly arms you've got there, boy. Right, so whilst James is carrying on with those onions, I'm going to dice up some bacon. Right, okay, so I'm going to use some smoked bacon in this recipe. You can use just normal, you know, unsmoked if you want, but the smokiness from the bacon is just going to make it really delicious. So all I'm going to do with this bacon is just dice it into lardons, which you've seen me do before. Okay, just like that, really simple. That's all the prep work done now, so we can get on and start cooking. Right, so let's start cooking then. I'm just going to stand back and watch James do it. I'm feeling a bit lazy.
Right, so just
bit of olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil into the pan, get it nice and hot.
Put it onto about, well, medium heat, medium high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
I'll do some of it. I'll stick in the bacon. There you are.
Yeah.
Où est le chicken? You probably know what that means because you speak. Was that Spanish? No, French.
No, that's not Spanish.
Then we just give that a quick stir. And all we're looking to do at this point is to brown off the chicken and the bacon, get it nice and crisp. So this will take about 5 minutes to do. James will carry on, and I'll see you folks in a bit. Now whilst that chicken and bacon's browning, just quickly showing you, the bowl of all the waste stuff, so the bones, the skin, all the carrot peelings, James has decided he's going to make a soup with it. See, nothing goes to waste in it. Adams Eats Kitchen, folks.
Oh no.
Right, okay, so it's been about 10 minutes now. The chicken and the bacon is nice and golden brown. I've turned the heat down a bit because obviously we're going to add the carrot and the onion now. We don't want to burn those, we just want to stew them down. Now, like I said before, just turn the heat down nice and low, and all we're looking to do is just to soften the carrot and the onion just slightly before we add the other stuff. So I'm going to carry on with this. James is over there doing the mash, and then we're not far off, folks. Almost ready for the oven. Right, okay, so it's been about 5–10 minutes. The carrots and the onion are nice and soft. Now I'm going to add some butter, well, a generous knob. Right, again, don't need to be too accurate. Okay, once the butter's melted, I'm going to go in with some flour. I want about 2½ tablespoons. Now you want to cook out the flour for about 30 seconds to a minute, because if you don't do that, it can taste quite chalky and powdery. So just make sure you do that.
Yeah, you always want to cook that flour out with any recipe, don't you?
Yeah. Right, okay, so it's been about 30 seconds. I'm going to start adding the stock. Now, I'm going to add about half of it now, and then mix it all through, and then add the other half, because that will prevent it from going too lumpy. So again, just mix it through, and you'll see that it immediately goes really nice and thick. Now you might need a little bit more stock, you might need a little bit less, just kind of use your eye. You want it thick, you don't want it too thin, because if it's too thin, then the mash is just going to sink into it. So then I'm going to add the rest of the stock. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a couple of bay leaves, just squeeze them in your hand just to release those oils. And I'm going to go in with about 2 teaspoons of English mustard. You could use Dijon, whole grain, entirely up to you. Right, so what I'm going to do is just leave this to simmer for about sort of 25 to 30 minutes, just so it's nice and cooked through, the carrots are nice and soft, and all those flavours get to mingle together. We'll add the tarragon, put it in a dish, top it with a mash, Bob's your uncle, go in the oven. Okay, so this has been simmering now for about 20 minutes. Do you want to come and taste this for seasoning, James? Just try a bit of the sauce, just see if it needs any salt.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I think it needs salt.
Absolutely delicious.
Does it need salt?
However, it needs a touch more salt, pepper.
I reckon
A
so.
little bit more seasoning.
Some salt in there.
That's absolutely lovely.
Now you can see how nice and thick and glossy that's gone. So now I'm going to add a lick of cream. About 4 tablespoons, I think. Be fine. Go in with some tarragon. Again, with this, be very careful because it's a very strong herb. Alright, so do it by taste. So I'm going to add in about 1.5 teaspoons to start with. Give it another quick taste.
Another taste for me.
That's bob on, mate.
Taste a little bit of that sauce.
That's bob on.
No, I don't want a carrot, I just want the sauce. There we go.
That doesn't actually need any more tarragon at all.
No.
I could eat that like that.
That's perfect, that tarragon. That's lovely.
So what I'm going to do is just leave this again for another 5 minutes so all those flavours can combine together, and then we'll get it in the pie dish. Right, okay, so I've transferred the filling to the pie dish. We're going to leave this to cool down because if you put the mash on the top whilst it's still hot, it's just going to sink into it. So, you know, you don't need it ice cold, just at room temperature, and then we'll put the mash on the top, sprinkle it with cheese, and then bang it in the oven. Right, okay, so my filling is nicely cooled. We can now get on the mash. Just want to pop it on in big dollops, really. Stick it on. You want to be quite generous with it. Okay, then all you need to do is just take a palette knife or a spoon, knife, doesn't really matter, and just spread it evenly across the surface. Before I forget as well, I've preheated the oven to gas mark 6 so it's nice and hot. Take a fork and just rough up the surface to get those nice edges because that will help it go nice and crispy. Okay, so I'm just going to pinch off just little dots of butter all over the top, and then we're just going to scatter over some cheddar cheese. You could use parmesan, gruyere would be quite nice. And there we go, that's your finished pie. We can now get it in the oven. Right, so that needs to cook in the oven for about 30 minutes, just so that top's nice and golden brown. That cheese should be nice and melted and golden and bubbling. And then we'll get it out of the oven, leave it to cool for a minute. We'll tuck them, and then we'll get it out of the oven, leave it to cool. And then we'll get it out of the oven, leave it to cool for a minute, and then we'll have a taste. Yeah, that's all it needed to be, wasn't it? That takes a second. Right, okay, so it's been about 30 minutes now. The top should be nice and crisp. So let's get it out of the oven and have a look. Right, so there we are, that's the finished pie. You can see that it's nice and golden brown on top, that cheese is melted. I'm gonna leave this for a couple of minutes because if I took into that now, it's gonna be blindingly hot. And then I'll serve some up and we'll have a taste. Right then folks, here it is, the finished pie itself. Really nice and crispy on the top. Let's dig in and have a taste. Get yourself a bit, mate.
Big force of this. A bit of chicken there, a bit of that crispy mash.
Smells good.
It does.
Bottoms up. Oh man. It's good.
Oh yes.
It's the tarragon that makes it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely the tarragon. And the good thing as well is that chicken is really moist because obviously you're using a thigh, which is a cheaper cut of meat, but generally because they've got high fat content, they stay moist. Got some carrot in there, it's a bit of your fibre day. I mean, yeah, it's full of calories, but
yeah, you can't worry about the calories with this one.
No. But it just goes to show you that by adding a different herb, you can really change the dish into something else. I mean, if I'd have put thyme in there or rosemary, completely different flavour.
Would have been nice. Would have been
Yeah, but
very
it'd just
nice,
be completely different.
but it wouldn't be the same. It's about that tarragon. Like you said, tarragon and chicken.
We're totally going to finish this whole thing, aren't we? Tuck in, mate, you've earned it. Well, there we are, folks. That's my chicken and tarragon pie. An absolute doddle to make. I mean, well, yeah, there's a bit of prep work, bit of chopping and all that, but he done most of that, so it don't matter. Now, if you like the recipe, then please leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now, if you really want to show me some love and support, then please click that subscribe button. And of course, stick around at the end because there'll be some links to some other videos. And if you're not a subscriber, there'll be a button for that as well. And I'll see you beautiful people next time for more tasty fun and frolics. Cheers to James, and bye for now.